Welcome to Landrianka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears, to live an awesome life, breaking through them. It's not really stopping them. Breaking through means, like, if there's a wall, you can break through it. Doesn't mean you're going to destroy the wall, but you're going to put a hole in it and pass through it. And that's all you do when fear appears. Don't battle it. Just say, okay, I have to, I'm going to get past this. And sometimes you got to kick the wall in to get through. Other times it's like passing through a cloud. And eventually fear will become that, like a cloud that passes by. You see it, you recognize it, you don't do anything with it, it goes on and it doesn't affect you anymore. So today I want to talk about, I was going to do part 13, but it was just a little bit too bizarre. It's this Master Key System by Charles Haanel. It's a really old book. It was banned because it was so powerful. And people like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and many, many, many very awesome people, successful people, have read it. It has empowered them. Why would they read a book like this? Because we live in a world of restrictions, self-imposed. And our society clings to those restrictions because it allows us to stay in these very mediocre places and not have to break out of the norm, because that takes effort and it makes us very uncomfortable. So if the whole of society stays in their place of comfort, then we can all say, oh, this is okay, it's acceptable. And if somebody breaks out of that, what do? Society criticizes that person. Oh, you're taking a risk, you're doing something different, you're outside of the norm. Well, maybe if they go outside of the norm and they make a mistake, then that's what they need to do. But we're so quick to decide what's acceptable and what is not. So a lot of really great people who know that they have, unlimited capabilities and probabilities out there that they can tap into, know this, and they've pursued this. So they've read books like this because there is a key to the system of manifesting. And that's what the Master Key System is. It gives you a method. Now I'm going to read part 14, and I skip around because it's so wordy, oldie wordy, that it's like, wow, okay, what the heck are they saying? So chapter 14 is, well, it's really a lesson. Look at how thin this book is. And there are, 24 lessons? Wow. They're so compact, and each is something that is to be practiced every day. And I really want to emphasize that. Practice every day is required. Why? Because if you want to break through the fear, if you want to break outside of the box, that's going to take some real practice and work. It's not going to be work like, a job you hate. It's going to be working towards something that's going to free you, expand you, move you past all of the things you've been told, all of the beliefs that have held you back. And then you go into another frame of thinking so that when other people say, you shouldn't be doing that, or, what are you thinking, or, it no longer controls you. You don't care because you're in a completely different frame of mind, and you have information then that you know that they don't or don't pursue. We all share information, but so it says, you've found from your study thus far that thought is a spiritual activity and is therefore endowed with creative power. This whole book is what you think. The whole book really is about thinking. What do you think? What are you believing? Those thoughts come from beliefs. Conditioning. This does not mean that some thought is creative, but that all thought is creative. All thought. So we'll sit there and go, okay, well, we're thinking this and that, but I'm gonna focus on positive things. And you go back to, think he's stupid, she's this, I'm dumb, this and that. And then it's like all thought is creative. Everything going through your head is creative. It's creating. The same principle can be brought into operation in a negative way through the process of denial. Now, we don't talk about denial that much. I just had this conversation with a friend this morning, and she was saying that you can say, well, let's say, all right, I don't want to be fat. I hate being fat. I want to be skinny. That, as a form of denial, is rejecting what is allowing a manifestation in a negative way, because you are focused on the thing you don't want, right? Denial. Okay, so let's give you an example. The conscious and subconscious are two phases of the same action. If you deny unsatisfactory conditions, you are withholding the creative power of your thought from these conditions. You are cutting them away at the root. You are sapping their vitality. So if you deny unsatisfactory conditions, you're withdrawing the creative power of your thought from those conditions. Right? So if you are focused on unsatisfactory conditions, like being overweight, I don't want this, this and that, you're fighting it, and therefore there's a focus on it. You're still creating. But if you deny unsatisfactory conditions, you're not focused on it, fighting it, oh, I don't like this, then you are withdrawing the creative power of your thought from these conditions, okay? So you're cutting them away at the root and sapping their vitality. So remember that the law of growth necessarily governs every manifestation in the objective, so that a denial of unsatisfactory conditions will not bring about instant change. Now, we always want this. I want to manifest right now. I see it on the internet all the time. How to manifest now. How I manifested $25,000 in one day. Of course everything's possible. I believe everything's possible. But there's this whole thing behind it that it's some trick that we do. And sometimes things need to, like this explains, time to die. A plant will remain visible for some time after its roots have been cut, but it will gradually fade away and eventually disappear. So the withdrawal of your thought from the contemplation of unsatisfactory conditions will gradually but surely terminate these conditions. So again, I don't want to be fat, I don't want this, I don't want to be poor, that's focusing. When you withdraw any attention or thought on the unsatisfactory conditions, you're killing off the manifesting of it. When you're focused on it, even if it's something you don't want, that's a focus on it. You are actually still creating it. You're bringing it into your reality. You're keeping it there. Does this make sense? Anything that you're focused on, even if it's unsatisfactory, is going to keep it in the forefront. So if you withdraw your attention on the unsatisfactory, and we're not talking about something, oh, I want this. I'm talking about something you don't want, and we do it all the time. I don't want. Okay, we know. The universe knows. Why do you keep thinking about it? Then stop thinking about it. So if you withdraw your thought from the contemplation of unsatisfactory conditions, it will gradually but surely terminate the conditions. Now don't get frustrated. Like I said, you're not going to be, a size 2 overnight if you're a 10. If you are, it's probably not a good thing. You will see that this is an exact opposite course from the one which we would naturally be inclined to adopt. It will therefore have an exact opposite effect to the one usually secured. Most persons concentrate intently upon unsatisfactory conditions, thereby giving the condition that measure of energy and vitality which is necessary in order to supply a vigorous growth. Most people focus on what they don't want, and it keeps it flourishing. All right, so I don't want to get into too much of this because it's like, what? Mind is creative, and the principle upon which this law is based is sound and legitimate. It's in the nature of things. It does not originate in the individual. It is in the universal, which is the source and fountain of all energy, all substance. The individual is simply the channel for the distribution of this energy. The individual is the means by which the universal produces the various combinations which result in the formation of phenomena. How many times have we talked about we are one energy? The individual is the channel. Now I want you to remember something. The individual is just this physical manifestation. The individual is the free will of the individual energy that you are, but you are still the universal. You are still a part of the universal, expressing itself as an individual, but technically you are not. But you are functioning as one, so on this earth, we can channel that information from the universal. So remember, whatever you're focused on, whatever you're thinking about, whether if you're rejecting and focusing on the unsatisfactory conditions, you are part of the universal that is sending you, creating, has all answers, every solution, every probability. You are that power, and you bring it into your reality through your individual body, energy here on this planet. You're the channel. So you can pull that in. How do you pull it in? With focus. I did a video. What are you focusing on? When you focus on the unsatisfactory things in your life, which is what most of us do, like I've done videos before where I'll say, well, what are you feeling right now? What are you thinking on? Almost everybody is walking around with something back here going, I don't want to be here, or I'm so uncomfortable, and I'm worried about money, I'm worried about relationships, I'm worried about this, my health, I'm worried. There's always something just following you around like a cloud. That is a focus. That is a focus on the unsatisfactory situation. That's manifesting. I know it's tough not to focus on that. Except for, and this is what I shared with my friend today, I said, here's the key to that. How do you stop that? Sometimes we feel like it's not us, it's some other entity that has more power than us. It is you. You're doing it. It's just a conditioning. It is the ego that is trying to protect you. I have to worry about this because I have to worry about everything that could possibly happen that's wrong. And I'm going to worry about everything because mom and dad told me this, or so-and-so told me that, or I learned this, or society says whatever. So you're focused on it. We are conditioned to worry all the time. So we're always focused on the unsatisfactory. We're always focused on what we don't want. So how do you stop that? You take that thought and monitor it at all times. Catch yourself. I had one exercise where it's like, I don't care if you have to set your clock every hour. Every hour, you stop yourself and say, what am I thinking and feeling? Feelings are powerful. What am I thinking and feeling right now? Is it negative? I'm going to choose a thought, get it in your mind, know what that thought is. Being consistent is really good. Envision something really beautiful and awesome. You know, you in the perfect job, you making a lot of money, you enjoying that money, not you standing there with a big check, but you actually living that life of abundance. You in a healthy relationship, you in that, environment that you want. You happy going to work every day instead of dreading it. You owning your own company. Envision what that is and just refocus. So that's all you have to do. It's like you just turn your head and you're focused over here instead. And you continue to do that. Stop focusing on the unsatisfactory. It is manifesting. So a lot of people think, oh, I'll focus on this, and they're still really thinking about what they don't want. They look in the mirror and they see the fat. And they hate it. And every day they're like, I want to get rid of this fat, I want to get rid of this fat. And then when you let it go and you say, you picture your jeans being too big on you. Just picture those jeans like hanging on you. And as your jeans are hanging, there's this really solid waistline, you know, not flabby, this nice, solid, tight waistline. Envision that on you. And think about what that feels like. And just do this every single day. Stop looking at yourself in the mirror. If you can't handle it, just don't look at it. And you know what's going to happen? People start to lose weight and they're not even thinking about it. Because they're already living the life of a skinny person. A fit, skinny person. They find themselves having more energy, doing more things. And they're not really dieting. Because dieting most of the time is you focused on being overweight. And this is true of everything. You know, people want money. They want to be abundant. They want, you know, to earn more. But all they can think about is living a life of a poor person. So they act like they're broke all the time. They don't tip well, or they don't splurge on themselves once in a while within reason. Or do things or act like somebody who is abundant. They still act like a poor person. They think everything should be free all the time, and they don't value how our system works at this point. It'll change at some point, but right now, people get paid for their goods and services. And we need to honor that with each other and reward people for that, and thus will be rewarded. So, are you focused on the unsatisfactory? Yeah, probably. Most of us do. It comes in our head. We spend more time worrying about the whatever. And no matter, and you know what's really interesting? No matter what great stuff happens, somehow in a very short period of time, you're already looking at the possible things that could happen. Oprah Winfrey said this. This is one of the wealthiest women in the world. Billionaire. Said she still worries about losing her money. She can't. It's impossible. If she lost every cent tomorrow, she'd still be a billionaire, because that woman would make that money back in a week. Because that's how much people love her and that's how creative she is. But in her head, she said she can't get rid of that idea that she could lose it. Now, what if the economy tanked? Oprah Winfrey is still going to be Oprah Winfrey, and you are still a creator. And there's nothing that can take that away from you. So stop worrying about it. You are focusing on the worst possible thing, the bad stuff. So pick that thing. Pick that feeling. You have to really love it, because you have to really feel it. I call it your puppy place. Picture that beautiful little puppy kissing you and biting your ear. And you know how it makes you laugh when they bite your ear, and you know, they're like crawling all over your face, and so you can feel their little fuzzy bodies and rub their little belly, and you picture that, and all of a sudden you're not thinking about that. You're focused on that adorable little puppy. So pick that thing that makes you feel that way, and be very aware at every moment. Is that back here somewhere? Sometimes we say, oh, I'm not thinking about it, but it's back here. You know what I mean? It's back here. There's that worry. There's that cloud back there. I don't know if this is going to work out. I'm so hopeful, and then, oh, God forbid, it says you got to cut it off, cut those roots. It's going to take a while for that plant to die. So people, if it doesn't happen right now, they freak out and go, it's not working. I didn't get the job, or I didn't, oh, I thought I was going to get the $1 million check, or I thought I'd win the lottery, or whatever. Counting on it instead of being relaxed and saying, I know it's going to result. All right, that didn't work out. That's fine. I know it's going to show up. Or you get on scale and you go, okay, I'm not lighter. All right, so what? Stay off the scale and just know that you're going to just naturally not eat the junk. You're just going to naturally just lose the weight. You're not going to have to count calories anymore. You're just naturally going to lose the weight because you know it. You're focused on that. You're not looking at what you don't like. You're not looking at the low bank account. You're envisioning the bank account loaded and that you can do anything you want. Get on a plane tomorrow and fly to Paris first class, right? You got to know you can do that, because at some point when that plant dies, because those roots are dead, something new will grow from that. Something new will blossom the very thing that you are focused on that is beautiful and alive. So be patient. Because if you're not seeing results, most of the time it's because you just have not changed your focus. Right, Koo? See, Koo agrees. He doesn't worry about anything, and neither should you. It doesn't change anything, but it does manifest. It is manifesting all the things that you don't. And if it's not manifesting something negative, it's blocking anything that you want from coming. So it's a little scary when you think about it. You wield that power. So that was chapter 14. And I highly suggest you read the book. You're not supposed to go on to the next chapter until you master it. So master this. Spend a whole week focused on just this. Watching your thoughts and catching yourself when you are focused on the unsatisfactory situation. Am I thinking about that? Probably yes. What do I want to think about? How do I want to feel? Let's think about that. Let's start to work on those feelings. Make sure that it's feeling related, not just a pile of money on the table. I don't know about you. I see a pile of money. I'm not going to go, oh, I'm excited. I will be excited when I go, okay, wait. Here's my debit card. I can just go get anything I want. And if I want to travel, if I want to send my money to charities, and I don't have to think about it. I just write that check. And that feels good. That's that feeling of what you're going to do, that life. So, I hope you enjoyed the Master Key System. I haven't done it in a while, so I wanted to post another one. We're going to keep going through it. Every once in a while, I'll pull one out. I'll go back to 13. That's a really good one, but it just had all this oldie-worldy stuff, and I actually shot it, and I thought, I have to reshoot this so that it really sinks in clearly. All right, did you say your mantra? First of all, did you send light and love throughout the universe, and did you envelop this planet in beautiful light? Say your mantra. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Thank you for the blessings you're sending me and everyone on this planet to create healing, peace, abundance, total joy, unity, and reconnecting with what we truly are. And that is limitless, beautiful light beings. Namaste.